A new law effective immediately will change how we vote in the next election.
In order to have your voice be heard, you must have an ID to go along with your voter registration card. It's a measure that was passed in 2011 and has been opposed by many since then. Regardless, the new voter ID law is effective immediately.
Impersonation fraud happening around the state, so that the person that the ID being proof that this is indeed the person.
Cameron County Elections Administrator Chris Davis says in order to protect votes, the new measure requires that voters provide a photo ID. The days of showing an electricity or water bill as proof of residency are over. Your face must match your name and address, the information registered with the state of Texas that makes you a valid voter. And while most people have driver's licenses, those who do not still have options.
They may already have a form of acceptable ID under this law already, and that'd be such things as the driver's license or an identification card that the DPS issues, concealed handgun license, believe it or not, is allowed, a U.S. passport, military identification card if they're a member of the military.
And if a voter doesn't have any of these forms of ID, the Texas Department of Public Safety is providing one for them. It's called an election identification certificate that can be obtained after filling out an application at the DPS office. Voters need only to be a U.S. citizen, Texas resident, and be eligible to vote. It will be an ID that can only be used for voting purposes. If a voter shows up to the polls without any of the above,
they will be allowed to vote then and there, but they'll be allowed to vote provisionally.
Which means the vote won't count at that time. The voter has 6 days after the vote to get an acceptable form of ID and take it to the elections office. A board will then go through the votes to determine which ones qualify. A tedious process, but Davis is confident since the EIC through DPS is absolutely free, most voters will come to the polls prepared.
Our goal is to make sure that this isn't a deterrent and that this is something that we can get the word out on and have these folks arrive with what they need to vote and then get on with their day.
Again, this is already effective. Go to a DPS office near you to get your election identification certificate. And as mentioned, there is no charge for you. Are you supportive of the new voter ID law? Let me know. I'm on Facebook and Twitter right now. Find me at facebook.com/action4newsmarcy and on Twitter at MarcyKGBT.